The Toyota Lounge, powered by your Front Range Toyota dealerships, for the DNVR Avalanche pregame show. It's good to be back. How you doing, chat? You feeling good? You ready for the Avs to hopefully score a few more goals tonight? Avs taking on New Jersey, kicking off a 6-game homestand. Some important teams they're playing, but really, schedule-wise, a pretty good stretch for the Avs. Eric, is there some extra oomph behind this one? Let me just ask you right away. Given the last 2 games, should the Avs be extra motivated tonight?
What do you say all the time? 3 is a streak?
Yep.
You don't want to go. I hate losing back-to-back. You don't want to go on a streak now. You know what I mean? So every point matters. You're at home. All the things are there. Val's back, 6-game homestand, biggest homestand of the season. Good team coming in. You know what I mean? Fun game. No rust from the Four Nations. Four Nations guys well rested. Haven't been on the ice the last 48 hours. So, yeah, I mean.
It's about as optimal as you're going to get.
I'm just saying there's no built-in excuse. You know what I mean? So it's not that you're looking for excuses. I'm saying sometimes it is a reality. So, yeah, looking forward to it. See how they react. I'm confident. We'll talk about it after the game, I guess.
Well, I guess we will. Nichushkin back in just to give you the expected lineup. Parson is expected to be the healthy scratch, and on the defensive end, you're running Shillington, DeHaan, and Malinsky, so Keaton Middleton, the odd man, out for tonight's game. Yep. A couple of different things to talk about here, but honestly, I usually wait, but let's do Jared Bednar early. Let's get Jared Bednar's thoughts on this one out of the way here, as he did talk at pre-game in morning skate.
Is Valen, and do you kind of limit his, do you do anything, any restrictions or anything like that?
No restrictions, and he is in. Yeah, he'll be in lineup tonight. Blackwood.
I know Val wasn't skating with, obviously Mackinnon wasn't here, but he wasn't skating on that top line yesterday in practice, but are you almost intrigued by the idea of getting Marty Netchis and Val Nichushkin together at some point?
Not right now.
Miles Wood played his 500th game over this past weekend, getting ready for his 100th in an Avs sweater. What has kind of made him such a key component to this roster?
I think a little bit of everything. He plays with a little bit of reckless abandon, and he provides a certain amount of energy and enthusiasm to our group that I like, and obviously part of our penalty kill and a hard-working checking line. So, yeah, I like the guys with personality. They bring it to the table on a nightly basis, and he's one of those guys. He's obviously a great skater, hard forward checker, played some really good games for us this year. Unfortunately, he's been in and out of our lineup a bit, but he's been good. He comes to the rink with a smile on his face and enjoys, putting in the work. So, yeah, good addition to our team. Like what he's been doing so far this year, and hopefully he can stay healthy and continue that.
Is there like one thing that the bottom 6 or bottom 9 isn't, that you'd like to see them do more to help them score more, or is it sort of if this guy needs to do this and this guy needs to do this?
There's some individual things there for sure, but as a line, I think we've been focused on making sure that they're connected and playing as a group of 3, and strength in numbers and puck battles to be able to come up with more pucks in the offensive zone. But they got to be hard to play against, going to the net front and putting pucks to the net front and crashing the net front. It's part of the identity of our bottom 6. When they're good, they're really good, and some nights they get a little quiet with that. I think our D can help that too, shooting some pucks from the blue line when we get them low to high, and understanding the mentality of that group and how they can help them as well.
You haven't really had a healthy forward group this year, and with Val back, you pretty much do. Is there more of an emphasis on, all right, we got to take advantage of this and start going on a run here?
Oh yeah, I think the emphasis has been the same all year. It doesn't really matter if you're missing guys, you're focused on the guys that are in the lineup. So it's just hopefully we're better at doing what we want to do with him in the lineup, and that he helps that second line a lot, and the other lines can follow suit.
Oliver Shellington has missed significant time this season, but has been able to get into games lately.
Yeah.
How have you navigated having a player missing so much time in the regular season, getting him back in these games recently?
Yeah. Well, and it's not just this season, right? Like in the last couple seasons, he hasn't played a lot of hockey. I think he has a skill set that can really help us. Obviously, an elite skater. He helps with the puck moving ability. I think he can help our team create a little offense in the offensive zone with his movement, with his shooting, with some of his passing and heads up plays. We saw a couple flashes of it last game in St. Louis again. Yeah, it's been tough because he's a guy that I've wanted to kind of put in the lineup for quite some time, and he just hasn't been healthy enough to go. And then you come back and you're rusty and you're kind of behind it. So I think that the time now over the last, going into the break, playing a game, getting a bunch of practice time in, coming out of the break, getting a bunch of practice time in, I've kind of made the decision that I want to see him play more and see what he's able to provide to our team, because the sad part is we're at this point in the season, I still don't know exactly what he can provide for us.
All good. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
If I had a nickel for every time Jared Bednar said someone was too injured to get into the lineup, I might have a couple bucks at this point this season.
If I had $1 million,
that'd be
rich.
about 5% of Cale Makar's next contract for 1 year. Look, guys coming in, guys shaking up. Let's face it, Jared Bednar alluded to it there. I don't want to speculate too much, but the trade deadline is what, 11 days away, 10 days away, not 9 days away even, I think. It's coming really quick. So this is it. Like, this is your last look at guys, or it's your last time to showcase guys, is these next couple of games. This is it. If you're a guy like Shillington, you're trying to earn a roster spot, whether it's here or somewhere else. If you are a guy at the bottom of this lineup, guess what? Yuso Parson just got a scratch tonight. Like, it's cutthroat time, right? You got to go out and earn it every single night right now.
And we always say it in rookie camp, make them make decisions, right? You know what I mean? That's the same thing now. Don't make decisions if you're Parson. Obviously, now you're making them make a decision. You know what I mean? It starts with, okay, I'm the scratch. Maybe we're looking somewhere else. I mean, it is nerve-wracking times a little bit. It is, every year, every team, some guys react differently to those, those weird times. Unless, like I said, you really want to get out. You know what I mean? Like sounds like Seth Jones in Chicago. You know what I mean? Like, you're really just crossing your fingers. You know what I mean? Where some other guys, they don't want to. They like it. Their kids like it. Their wife likes it. They like it. They like their friends, their teammates. They don't want to get dealt, and they just react to it differently in a way that they don't play well. They're gripping the stick. I don't know. It's just weird times. But you're right. It is the audition time. It is.
You're either auditioning or you're earning it right now. One of the two.
Or like he said, Shillington. Perfect example of what you're trying to say, and perfect example of what Bednar was trying to say there. Got to know what we have. You know what I mean? Because after that, that's what we do, and we can't make any more changes. And trade deadline's pass, and this is what we got to go to the dance with, and let's go.
Let's flip it to the other side quickly. You caught up with the Fitzy, the GM of the New Jersey Devils, at pregame as well. Let's see where they're taking this one.
Yep. Here we are with Tom Fitzgerald, former Avalanche. Good man right there. Listen, Four Nations, one of the assistant GMs for Team USA. Tell us a little bit how the experience was for everybody. It was new. Mm-hmm. Sounded like it was awesome, and I think the player participation was absolutely off the chart.
It was as advertised. Yeah. It was fantastic. Best on best. We haven't seen that in a while. What it did for our league and what it did for our sport, it was incredible. The viewing ship of it all was unbelievable. Both cities, Montreal and Boston, did a tremendous job hosting. But the players, they just didn't go through the motion. This was not an all-star game, as everybody saw. It was real hockey. And for guys who've won cups to say these were the most intense games they've ever played, it just says a lot about what this tournament was all about.
And the Boston area group of guys was well represented by you guys, that's for sure. But listen, best of luck tonight. Avalanche against the New Jersey Devils. So tell us 2 seconds about how everything's going with the Devils and what are you guys looking for on the stretch here?
You know what? We're playing some good hockey right now coming out of this break. We feel we do have a good team. We've been inconsistent. Had a great first half up to Christmas and struggled a bit finding that consistency in January. But we're getting healthy. You know, the deadline's coming up. Can I help the group by adding something? Going to try. But if not, we like our group. We feel like the East is up for grabs. So consistency, reliability, connectiveness is all part of winning, as you know.
Well, here you go.
All right, if I had a nickel for every time someone in the NHL mentioned consistency, I would definitely be a rich man.
There you go. You know what I mean? That's, yeah, it was good. Tommy Fitz, a good guy. Avalanche for sure. Talk about trade deadline.
Yep.
Went and got him at the deadline, and then we were up 3-1 in the first round against Edmonton and lost in 7. So whoopsies.
Oops.
I was gone. He was gone. So here you go. That's the reunion right there.
All right. You got the Devils. They're a good team. They're not the same as the couple of losses the Avs just put into some bottom of the division teams. New Jersey's a bona fide playoff team, however you feel about them. Give me 3 keys to beat a playoff team like New Jersey in a situation where, I don't want to call it an absolute must-win, but for vibes perspective, this is a must-win.
Buddy, I love that. Must win. I'm going with the must win. I mean, at some point, like you got to treat it like a must win.
You should. If you're the Avs, you should.
I mean, it's not hard to do. You just put your big boy pants on and you buckle up your chin strap and you go. You know what I mean? Like, and that's just, nothing bothers you. Nothing bothers us as a group, and we go anyway. Tonight, good opponent in. Key number 1, passion. I've been talking about this for a few weeks now, even before the Four Nations. Let's get the level of emotions needed to rise up a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, everybody ropes, everybody rides. Let's go. Let's put this thing together. You must have that ingredient in your recipe.
Have you ever ridden a horse?
No. Yeah.
Okay. Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
What?
Everybody ropes, everybody rides. It's a Ericism for sure. And I didn't.
Well, I mean,
never
they all say that in locker rooms.
I never know if you've actually gotten on a horse.
No, I mean, everybody talks about that in the locker room all the time. That's
a very Calgary phrase of you, for sure.
You must have the ingredient in the recipe, right, of passion. So lay it out on the line. Big test to start, this trip here. I mean, not this trip, this homestand. So let's go. Key number 2, control aggression. Like, don't take penalties. Don't be stupid. Be under control. Get mad, but get desperate. You got to have a little bit of level of desperation in your play. Dictate the tone of the game. Don't let the game come to you. Dictate it. Let's go. Don't chase the game. You set the tone. You're at home. Don't worry. People are afraid of the Avalanche. Even though they haven't scored a lot of goals lately, it's still a team that puts fear into you. So let's rock and roll. And then key number 3, win the 5-on-5 battles. Those guys are good at 5-on-5. I mean, they're plus 36 on goal differential. And, they're a good road team, 17-11-2. They got 2 shutouts in their last 7 games. Obviously, Markstrom's been out, so that was Jake Allen.
Yep.
And details on point, in all 3 zones. It's very important that you get to those playoff habits and those playoff details because time is of the essence right now.
I loved your first point the most, passion, right? Like, okay, Nashville's not a very good team. Okay, you're coming off the break. Maybe it's a little bit hard to get up for a game like that. All right, you feel like you're in a bit of a rut. That St. Louis game doesn't go your way. It's a back-to-back. Hard to get up for that game. If you cannot get up for a game against the New Jersey Devils, you're in trouble. You are in serious trouble if you cannot get yourself to lock in for a game like this.
After a day off, after a practice yesterday, and then you're at home. There's no excuses.
Yep, exactly right.
There's no. It's not like it was a snowstorm and you got in. No, you've been home for a few nights now. You've been in your bed. You've been ready to go. Rust is off. There is no excuses. Mm-hmm. You got to get there with a passion. You got to bring that level. And you talk about auditions. Yeah, you're auditioning right now for Bednar when it comes down to the passion level, especially guys that have never been on this team. Can you rise up you know what I mean, to that level, because we all know it goes up a notch, a 2 or 3 or 4 notches in the playoffs. And, you know, then he just kind of, he sees and what level of passion you have, you know what I mean? So if you haven't been around, I'm talking about, you know, the Parker Kellys of the world, you know, the guys that have never, you know, that didn't win, you know what I mean? Or that haven't been around in the playoffs for this team. So very important that, you know, you bring your level up and you match whatever the opposition's giving you and more.
I think there's a reality about the Colorado Avalanche as an organization that there is an expectation of excellence when it comes to this team. When you look at, obviously, there are a lot of storied teams that have been around forever and won 1 billion cups and all of that. But when you look at the modern teams, of the teams that have been around in the modern era of hockey, these expansion teams over the last 30, even 40 years, the Avalanche are one of the most successful teams in hockey in that spread of time. And that's the expectation here. Eric, you've talked about it a lot. Sometimes players come in here and aren't ready for what the reality of that is playing here. And that, I'm not talking about from a media standpoint.
No.
Media is easy here. Compared to any Canadian market, it's a joke.
Yeah.
But the internal pressure from a team like this, where the objective is winning and anything less than that is failure, it takes some adjusting. It's something that some players can't handle, if we're being honest about it.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality is, when you look at situations like this, when you look at an Avalanche team that I don't want to say has floundered, but has certainly struggled at times this year, okay, you've exhausted the rope. You're at the end of the rope if you're the Colorado Avalanche. So it's time to put up or shut up.
I totally agree with you. And that's why it's so important right now to see who can deal with those expectations. Let me put it this way. If you can't handle the trade deadline because you're nervous, how are you going to handle the playoffs? I'm just saying. I'm just being honest with you. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. You can't handle that type of pressure. It's got to be perfect. And I got news for you. It's not perfect in the National Hockey League. It's never perfect.
Never is.
It just, you know, you got to be able to handle whatever's thrown at you. And I think it's important because nutritional standpoint, you know, physical standpoint, mental standpoint, like everything to be champion-minded is not easy to do. And you're right. Some guys can't do it and some guys can. Now, if you have identified that a guy can't do it, you got to do everything in your power to get rid of him. You know, when I say all due respect in the world, I say get rid of him. You know, make him move to a different situation.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because this is not for him. And that's why sometimes teams are not fits for some certain players. So, yeah, I think the window's very small here you're talking about days. What is it, 9, 8 days, whatever. Days to make sure that you really are locked in on your roster. You really are locked in on the people that you have in that room to be ready to go for that big, obviously, hunting season. You know what I mean? That hopefully lasts a few months and not 7 to 10 days.
Yeah, exactly right. And I want to ask you this. Obviously, the Avs' lack of goal scoring in their bottom 9 and in general has been well documented by us, by everybody. But I'm curious, how do you best solve that? Do the Avs more need to improve their actual ability to finish plays by shooting the puck and scoring the goal? Or do the Avs need to do a better job with their setups to create quality opportunities?
I mean, go back to some of our pre-games there, you know, and the keys. And a few times we talk about details. It's one thing, like Bednar said in his presser, oh, yeah, you know, low to high and get some pucks on net. It's one thing to have pucks on net. It's another thing to have pucks on net with a body in front of the goalie. There's a big difference. And there's a big difference between being a foot next to the goalie or in front of the goalie, because you might have to fight for that space. You might have to get, you know, one on the chin or whatever it is. And you can draw a penalty that way. You're taking the goalie's eyes away. You just have to get involved a little bit more. And I do believe that some guys, that's my opinion, haven't gotten to that level of involvement that is needed to produce at a respectable level. Because like he talked about it at the end of the game, last game, coach, it's like everybody in that bottom 6 or whatever bottom 9, they're all hitting at the same time. They all got 1 point in 15 games, 0 points, 15 games. I mean, it's all at the same time. So I do believe that the details are so important. I think it's lacking a little bit. And I do believe in manufacturing scoring chances. When you are not a rush player, when you are not I tell you all the time, when a rusher tries to become a crusher, the offense, whatever. When a crusher tries to become a rusher, offense becomes an usher, and then you're in the press box. Well, figure it out. It's so, for me, it's so easy to go control and cycle the puck and go play below the goal line and figure out how to manufacture some chances, where I do believe that, and I'll use that line again. At some point, it does have to go off your butt or your leg, and you know what I mean. Like
You're putting yourself in the right spots. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it just has to. You know what I mean? And it's absurd that that's gone on a little too long. And do I believe that they're going to snap out of it? Yes. Do I believe that the level of commitment is needed to get a little bit higher? I do believe that.
Well, one of the people who's talked about that and talking about the Avs needing to perform because they need to show reasons for their front office to help them is Cale Makar. He talked in pregame as well. Let's hear from his locker room conversation.
Next 6 games here, really good back in your own barn.
Yeah, it'll be huge. Obviously, we got to take advantage of the homestand. It's been a long time since playing in this rink, so 3-ish weeks, I guess. So yeah, it should be fun.
You're getting a big addition today, back in the lineup with Val coming back. What does he mean to the team?
I mean, yeah, you can't be just how much underestimated how much he means to this team. Obviously, does so much for us, eats a lot of minutes, and then plays up and down the lineup in every situation. So it'll be a huge addition for us, and hopefully he's back to Valerie form. He looks pretty good out there. So.
How good was it for you and Taser and Nate to get those last 2 days off for you guys?
Yeah, it's good. Obviously, when you compound so many days, just grinding and mentally being checked in, obviously you need a couple of days to just retool and relax and just basically recover. So I think it'll be obviously we're going to have to find some days down the stretch here to get a couple back again. But we got to make sure we're ready to go because we need some points here.
Were you able to turn off? I mean, I know you guys go down this stretch. Was it easy for you to take these 2 days off and just forget about hockey?
I don't think it really like that. At least for me, obviously it's always about the game, and I think for me it's more so just recovery, like utilizing all the different aspects of treatment that we have and making sure that the body's ready to go. Because, like I said, to be mentally checked in for that 2 weeks and playing those high-end games, it's a lot on your brain and a lot on your body. So I think definitely useful a couple of days, but yeah, we got to be ready to go.
What did you learn from the 4 nations that you didn't know before?
I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know. A lot of things. So many things from guys on our team. Just how guys handle themselves day in, day out. And it was really cool to learn from a lot of those leaders. Guys like Sid and David, and the list goes on, Marchand. So it's pretty cool. But in terms of that, it was awesome to see the pace, how much passion guys had for their countries, and that was a lot of fun.
I guess it's not really fair to expect him to jump in and just be automatically Val, right? There's an adjustment period in there.
Yeah, I mean, he's been out for a while. Obviously, he hasn't played a game in I don't even know how long, a month. Yeah, exactly. It's 2 months or whatever. So yeah, he's got to find his legs back. He's looked really good in practice, at least today. And I know he's really excited. So when he's excited, that's when he's at his best. And, yeah, we're excited to have him back. Sweet. Thank you.
So there you go. The Avs are expecting Val to be able to produce. Back in the lineup, obviously everyone knows the Avs have a ridiculously good record with him in the lineup. I don't think it would be unreasonable to expect a little bit of rust there, given how much time he's missed. But you know what? He could also show up and pop off. It's crystal ball time. Give me a score. Give me a name. What do you got?
I got to stick with my bet. Let's
go.
I'm going with the big Val, number 13, Choo-Choo, Natushkin. Yeah, I'm going against the odds that he's going to have rust. I'm going with a hat trick for Val Natushkin. And a big part of the reason why the Avalanche are going to win this one, 6-4.
That's a high-scoring hockey game.
That's
right there. I'm down for the high score, and I actually agree. I think I had 5-3, so I'm a little bit less. I'm a little bit less on that front for you. But I do think it will be one. Look, I just want to see the Avs score some goals, man. Come on, let's get it together. Put some pucks in the back of the net. At least make it an exciting one, if that's what you're going to do. As far as a name goes, I'm going to go. I mean, I also like Val as a choice, but I'll switch it up a little bit. I do think the Avs get a depth goal proper tonight. I do think they get one. I think I'm going to take LOC.
I like it.
Going to take Logan O'Connor to put one in the back of the net. Look, the Avs have some of their own issues. I think there's no doubt about that. I also think it's unsustainable, the rate at which they've struggled to score goals. Just by accident, eventually some pucks are going to start going into the net for some of these guys. So it's going to happen eventually. Why not make it tonight? We both went high scoring. We both got our guys. But let's take a look at our pregame picks presented by Bet365, where things are never ordinary. I went all individual players on my bets today. I took Taves for an anytime point. I took Makar for a power play point. Honestly, the Makar power play point one is just too good a value not to take. Does feel like the Avs power play has been a little bit better. Of course, they haven't had a ton of opportunities post-break, but still, that's good money. And then the biggest plus bet I could find on the game was a Val Nichushkin hat trick at plus 15,000. By the way, that's bet $10, win $1,500 if
That's what I did.
And I know that's not likely, but at that type of money you're making, why not? Why not pop off? All the people who believe Val is such a key to all those wins he brings the Avs, why not jump in on a plus 15,000 bet? There you go. Get the train whistle going. Get it working.
I jumped on the train. I did.
Jump in with it. If Val's the difference maker. And that... I don't know if people would like my answer to that. Ryan in the Toyota chat asking which number 13 was better, Val Kaminsky or Val Nichushkin?
Oh, I'm a big Val Kaminsky. I love the man. I played with him over couple years here, and then 2 years in the Rangers with him. I love the man. Underrated player. What a player. Oh God, that's a tough question. Because Val's a unicorn, totally different player, but I'm going old school. I'm going Val Kaminsky just because he's my guy.
I'm taking Nichushkin. On the ice, Val Nichushkin's the better player.
All right, fair.
That's where I'm
Val
at with
was
that
sick. Kaminsky.
It's
Val.
Look, I'm just excited because I believe that the Avs are going to put a better game together tonight. The Nashville game, I think we all agreed, process-wise, wasn't that bad. The St. Louis game was bad.
I thought it was awful.
Truly a terrible game from the Avs. So tonight's a bounce-back opportunity for this team. The homestand you should feel good about. I think there's a lot of reasons for the Avs to step up tonight. The question is, can they do it? Of course, we'll have to wait and see. But I think there's a lot of reason to feel confident in this team tonight. It's going to be an interesting next 8, 9, 10 days. But you can only play the game in front of you. That's my favorite phrase. Tonight, you got the New Jersey Devils in front of you. Realistically, E, how do you think these two teams match up?
I think they're both exciting. You know what I mean? Like, you got the Hughes of, both Hughes brothers. Good players. I think they're young and exciting. Obviously, they've had some good success this year. Obviously, they were 2 years ago a pretty good team. Expectations were high last year. They did not meet expectations. Changed coaching staff. Kind of went went after Markstrom. Markstrom now in his prime, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Has been a bit of an injury-prone guy, though.
Yeah. Obviously, he's been injured, but he's done well when he's been in there. So exciting time tonight for an East-West matchup.
Yep.
This is a team we don't see a lot, obviously, but obviously some history with the 2000s and 01 Cup, whatever. But I think it's fun tonight. I think they both match up well. I think this is two teams that can bring the offense, that can skate. I think it's going to be a good game tonight. That's why I said 6-4.
In theory, it should be two high-octane teams.
Yeah.
So it should be fun to watch. We're going to wrap up this pregame show. We got a watch-along coming your way in a couple of minutes. And, of course, if that's not your thing, at very least, join us for the postgame where we'll break down whatever happens for you in full. We appreciate y'all. This has been the DNVR Avalanche pregame show, and we'll see you soon.
We all silly like the mayor.